You can sense it before you can prove it. The way her eyes hesitate when you catch them lingering, the half-smile she tries to bury under indifference, the sudden change in tone when your presence shifts the air around her. It's all there, coded beneath composure. Most men never notice. They chase obvious affection. They miss the language of restraint. But the truth is, some of the most powerful attraction a woman feels is the kind she's desperately trying not to show. She'll act calm. She'll act distracted. She'll even pretend you don't exist. But underneath, something in her is restless. She feels drawn to you, but she's fighting it. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she does. She's protecting her ego, testing your energy, and waiting to see whether your presence stays centered, even when she hides her interest behind silence. You see, attraction isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet contradiction between what she says and what her body betrays. It's how her guard rises when she's too aware of you. It's how she avoids eye contact only to steal it when you're not looking. It's how she corrects you sharply, then mirrors your posture seconds later. These are not random moments. They're emotional slip-ups, flashes of truth she can't suppress. And this is where most men fail. They rush. They interpret hesitation as rejection. They miss the game that isn't played with words, but with presence. A woman who's genuinely interested but trying not to show it doesn't want you to decode her. She wants you to remain composed while you already have. She wants to feel that you've noticed her interest, but that your world doesn't orbit around it. That's where your silent advantage lies. When you can sense her tension without feeding it. When you can match her calm, hold your ground, and let her curiosity grow in the spaces your silence creates. Because when a woman realizes that you're not seeking proof of her attraction, that you already move like a man who's quietly certain, she loses control of the facade. Her restraint becomes fascination. Tonight, we're not talking about obvious flirting or exaggerated smiles. We're going deeper into the hidden, often conflicting signals that reveal when a woman truly likes you but is trying not to show it. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize the signs, you'll understand the psychology behind them and why staying composed when she hides her interest is what makes her reveal it. Before we start, remember, if you're ready to master yourself and the dating game, my full course is waiting at the stoacouple.podia.com site. Join once and you're in for life with lifetime access to every future lessons, series, and books. Start your journey now because growth doesn't wait. Let's dive in. Number 1. The tension behind her. Calm. There's something almost sacred about the calm a woman wears when she's trying to hide her attraction. It's not coldness. It's containment. She's fighting the current because deep down she knows the moment she lets it flow, you'll feel it too. And once that happens, she's no longer in control. So she masks it with logic, posture, or distance. But if you know how to read energy instead of words, you'll see that her calm is not peace, it's pressure. Watch closely. When she's around you, her movements become measured. She speaks slower, or sometimes not at all. Her eyes seem to carry a story she's afraid to tell. She might act unimpressed, even detached. But look at her micro-expressions, those tiny slips between confidence and curiosity. The truth always leaks through small moments. A breath she didn't mean to hold. A nervous touch to her hair. A delayed smile that catches her off guard. Every woman has her own defense mechanism. For some, it's sarcasm. For others, it's silence. But both are shields. Elegant distractions from a heart that's reacting faster than her logic can manage. She doesn't want you to see that she's affected because if you do, she loses the upper hand. That's why she tries to appear untouched, as if your presence means nothing when in reality her energy is already adapting to yours. Men who lack awareness mistake this for rejection. They think she's bored or disinterested, and they push harder, trying to force clarity. But the stoic man does the opposite. He observes. He lets her guard exist without trying to break it, because he knows that attraction built on resistance becomes stronger when left unspoken. Every time you remain calm in the face of her composure, you amplify the tension. You turn her calm into a storm she can no longer control. The irony is this: the more she tries to suppress her interest, the more obvious it becomes to the man who sees. Her laughter becomes inconsistent, genuine one moment, restrained the next. Her tone shifts depending on who's listening. She might treat everyone equally except you. When she tries to act normal, it comes off rehearsed. That's how you know she's fighting something real. This hidden tension is what creates the invisible connection. It's not about words, touches, or confessions. It's about the vibration between two people pretending they don't feel what's already there. And the man who understands this never reacts emotionally. He simply exists in quiet confidence, allowing her to reveal herself in time. Because in the world of silent attraction, patience isn't passive, it's power. The one who stays centered while the other hides their truth always ends up being the one they can't stop thinking about. Number 2, mixed signals and hidden intentions. When a woman likes you but doesn't want you to know, her behavior becomes a contradiction of messages. One moment she's open, engaging, even playful, and the next she's distant, distracted, or cold. These mixed signals aren't random. They're the product of an inner war between desire and defense. She wants to be seen, but she's afraid of being exposed. She wants connection, but she's terrified of vulnerability. So, her mind tells her to act indifferent, while her emotions keep betraying her in every subtle move. You might notice how her energy shifts the instant you walk into a room. Before you arrived, she was relaxed, laughing freely with others. But the moment your presence fills the space, something changes. Her posture adjusts, her voice softens or sharpens, and suddenly she's more aware of herself. It's not performance, it's instinct. Your presence triggers emotion, and she's doing her best to stay composed under the weight of it. She might even pull back just to regain control of her feelings. This is why it's dangerous for men to overinterpret words. A woman can tell you she's not interested, yet her actions can tell an entirely different story. She can claim she doesn't think of you while unconsciously mirroring your gestures, remembering small details you said days ago, or defending you when others mock you. Her logic tries to close the door, but her energy keeps leaving it open. These contradictions are her defense, a way to test your depth. If you react emotionally to her push and pull, she knows you're still easily moved. But if you remain composed, steady, and unshaken by her inconsistency, she begins to feel something she didn't expect: trust. She senses that your calm isn't indifference, it's control, and that's rare. Most men crumble under confusion, while the stoic man simply watches, letting the truth reveal itself in time. When a woman sends mixed signals, she's also observing how you read them. She's not just hiding her attraction, she's evaluating your awareness. She wants to see whether your focus shifts when her energy does. She wants to feel that you can sense her emotions without needing confirmation. This silent exchange builds a psychological bond far deeper than open flirting ever could. Remember, she's not confused about her feelings. She's conflicted about showing them. She's measuring whether you can hold your ground in uncertainty. That's what draws her in, slowly but surely. Because when you stay calm while she's inconsistent, you flip the polarity. Suddenly, she's the one wondering what you feel, what you know, and how much longer she can keep pretending. And that's when attraction stops being mutual interest and becomes obsession. When she starts fighting her own desire, not to hide it from you, but to hide it from herself. Number 3, the eyes that can't lie. You can fake words, you can fake smiles, but the eyes, they always tell the truth. When a woman likes you and tries to hide it, her eyes become the battlefield between what she feels and what she wants to control. You'll notice how she avoids looking directly at you for too long. Yet, she keeps finding ways to glance back when she thinks you're not watching. It's almost magnetic, like she's drawn to the very thing she's trying to escape. The truth is, attraction lives in the microseconds of connection. That instant when her gaze locks with yours and she forgets to look away fast enough. It's not just biology, it's energy recognition. Her eyes are searching yours for something. Safety, strength, mystery, maybe all three. And the moment she feels that silent calm radiating from you, she becomes aware that her emotions are no longer fully under her control. She might compensate by acting detached, pretending to focus on her phone or looking at anything else to re-establish control. But even in avoidance, she exposes herself because her body language will always betray her intention. Her pupils dilate slightly when you speak. Her breathing changes when your eyes meet. She becomes hyper-aware of how she appears, as if your attention suddenly made her conscious of her femininity. These are the subtle tells of a woman who's emotionally charged but unwilling to admit it. Every woman has her own way of disguising that intensity. Some will look at you longer than necessary, as if to prove they're unaffected. But the softness in their gaze will give them away. Others will barely look at you at all, creating distance because they fear what might show if they do. Yet both patterns reveal the same truth. Her eyes are guarding something she doesn't want you to see. Desire. Here's what separates the average man from the stoic man. The average one gets intoxicated by those glances, chasing validation through them. The stoic one, however, receives them. He doesn't react, doesn't seek more. He lets her feel the full weight of his calm, because when you can look into her eyes without flinching, without losing control, she feels it. That silent confidence speaks louder than any compliment ever could. There's a reason why some men make women nervous without saying a word. It's because their eyes don't plead. They observe. They don't demand. They understand. They carry peace, and that peace disrupts every woman still fighting her emotions. When your gaze is rooted in calm awareness, she feels exposed. Not because you saw her beauty, but because you saw through her performance. And from that moment on, she won't be able to unsee you, because, while words fade and gestures can be forgotten, a single look that pierces through her defenses stays replaying in her mind long after you're gone. Number 4, the subtle acts of jealousy. Jealousy is never random. It's the unfiltered proof of emotion leaking through self-control. When a woman likes you and is trying not to show it, jealousy becomes her shadow. She won't announce it. She won't even admit it to herself, but it shows in the smallest, most human ways. In how her tone sharpens when you mention another woman, or how her attention suddenly fractures when someone else draws your focus. It's not that she wants to own you. It's that she can't stand the reminder that someone else might see what she sees in you. The calm strength, the quiet mystery, the composure that unsettles her. She doesn't want anyone else to experience that energy. So, she masks it under casual indifference. She'll pretend to be unbothered, but the energy around her changes. She'll withdraw slightly, become colder, or start teasing you in ways that carry more tension than humor. Sometimes it's not in what she says, it's in what she suddenly doesn't say. Her replies grow shorter, her laughter fades faster, her warmth becomes selective. You might think she's losing interest, but she's actually regaining emotional balance after being reminded she's not the only one feeling drawn to you. And that's the paradox. Jealousy doesn't mean she wants to confess. It means she's fighting to not confess. In group settings, you'll often notice the subtle battles she fights with herself. She'll try to seem friendly, neutral, even supportive, but her energy will betray her. If another woman compliments you, she might interrupt playfully, change the subject, or make a joke that redirects attention. If she sees you talking deeply with someone else, her body stiffens, her smile becomes performative, her tone slightly forced. She's trying to stay composed, but her body language speaks fluent emotion. What most men miss is that these moments of jealousy aren't opportunities to provoke or manipulate. They're signals of emotional investment, proof that your presence carries impact. The stoic man doesn't react with arrogance or ego. He stays grounded. He observes. He lets her emotions unfold naturally without commentary, because he understands that true attraction deepens not when you chase her confession, but when you let her feel her own reactions fully. Every time she experiences that subtle sting of jealousy, her mind tries to rationalize it. I don't even like him that way. Yet, her body already betrayed her truth. She starts noticing how often she checks your stories, how her mood shifts when she sees your name, how her thoughts wander toward you at random hours. That's how desire grows, in silence. It's not in the dramatic gestures. It's in the quiet war between her composure and her emotions. The more she tries to suppress it, the deeper it embeds itself. And when you remain emotionally still, like a mirror that reflects her without reacting, she eventually realizes the truth she's been hiding. She was never as detached as she pretended to be. Number 5, when her words say no, but her energy says yes. When a woman likes you but isn't ready to face it, her words become her defense system. She'll say things that sound dismissive, distant, or even critical. But her energy, her tone, her timing, they all whisper something different. It's not rejection, it's regulation. She's trying to control a feeling she doesn't trust yet. You'll hear her say things like, "You're not really my type," or, "I'd never date someone like you." But the irony lies in how much she says it. True indifference doesn't explain itself. The more effort she puts into convincing you she's not interested, the clearer it becomes that she's trying to convince herself. That tension between what she says and what she feels is where real attraction hides. Her energy, though, never lies. She might lean back when you speak, but her body stays angled toward you. Her words may challenge you, but her tone softens mid-sentence. She might claim she doesn't care where you're going, yet she remembers every small detail you mentioned days ago. When her words and energy contradict each other, always believe the energy. Because emotion leaks through the cracks logic can't seal. A woman will often use verbal distance as emotional camouflage. It allows her to feel in control while still engaging with you. It's her way of testing whether you'll crumble at her surface-level dismissal or remain steady beneath it. Most men panic, overanalyze, or chase reassurance. But the stoic man doesn't. He understands that behind every playful rejection, every sarcastic line, every "you think you're so confident, don't you?" there's curiosity disguised as challenge. This is where your composure becomes magnetic. When she sees that her words don't destabilize you, something shifts. She begins to feel safe, not because you reassured her, but because you didn't need to. You stayed grounded in truth, unshaken by her tests. That emotional steadiness speaks directly to her subconscious. It tells her he's not moved by emotion. He moves emotion. Eventually, her resistance starts to soften. Her words lose their edge. She begins to tease instead of deny, to linger instead of escape. She may still pretend indifference, but her energy starts to align with her attraction. And that's the moment most men miss. The quiet transition when she stops fighting you and starts fighting herself for feeling something real. This dance between no and yes isn't manipulation. It's human fear. She's afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of choosing wrong, afraid of losing control. But every time she sees your silence, your calm presence, your unreactive gaze, she feels something she can't explain. Safety with intention. And that's when her words stop being weapons and start becoming invitations. Not through confession, but through comfort. Because a woman who feels emotionally safe with you doesn't need to admit her feelings. Her entire energy starts doing it for her. Number 6, the emotional mirror effect. Attraction, when it's real, always becomes a mirror. A woman doesn't just respond to who you are. She responds to what you awaken in her. And when she likes you but tries not to show it, that reflection becomes almost unbearable. Your calm energy begins to expose her inner conflict. The more centered you are, the more aware she becomes of her own imbalance. The more silent your confidence, the louder her emotions echo inside her. It's not magic, it's psychology. When your presence is stable and unbothered, it reflects everything she's trying to suppress. That's why she might seem irritated by your calmness or overly defensive for no reason. It's because you've triggered something she doesn't fully understand, a feeling she can't control, awakened by a man who refuses to perform. You're not playing the role of validation, you're holding up a mirror, and what she sees there, vulnerability, attraction, curiosity, scares her and fascinates her at the same time. She might start to copy your composure without realizing it. She'll slow down her speech, match your tone, or unconsciously imitate your gestures. That's not coincidence. It's emotional resonance. Her nervous system is syncing with yours. In moments of silence, she starts to feel what you feel, and that quiet presence becomes addictive. She starts to crave it because it grounds her in a world that usually rewards chaos. The emotional mirror effect is what makes stoic energy so powerful. You don't force attraction. You allow it to unfold by being still enough for her to see herself clearly in your presence. When she speaks nervously, you stay calm. When she hides behind sarcasm, you stay warm but unaffected. When she withdraws, you don't chase. You simply remain. That unshakable peace becomes her emotional contrast, and every time she interacts with you, she feels the difference between your stillness and the noise of everyone else. Eventually, she starts mirroring not just your calm, but your values, your rhythm, your restraint, your focus. She finds herself wanting to match your emotional maturity because she feels better in your presence. This is how attraction transforms into emotional imprint. You're no longer just someone she likes. You're someone she feels like herself around. And once a woman associates you with emotional peace, it's game over for her resistance. Most men think attraction is about excitement, but true attraction, the kind that haunts her quietly at night, is about contrast. You become unforgettable, not because you're loud or flashy, but because your energy becomes the mirror she keeps returning to for clarity. And here's the quiet irony. The more she tries to resist that pull, the stronger it becomes, because what she's actually resisting is her own reflection in you. In short, attraction isn't always loud. Sometimes it hides behind crossed arms, measured words, and glances that never stay long enough. A woman who likes you but tries not to show it isn't lying to you. She's protecting something sacred. She's protecting the part of herself that still believes real connection is dangerous, that still remembers the cost of letting someone too close. But no matter how careful she is, attraction has a way of slipping through the cracks of logic. You can't bury chemistry. You can only delay its confession. Throughout her restraint, she's studying you. Not your looks, not your status, but your energy. She wants to know if your presence feels safe, or if it feels like every other storm she's survived. That's why she hides behind mixed signals, silence, or indifference. She's not trying to confuse you. She's trying to confirm you. She needs to feel that your calm isn't an act, that it's who you are when no one's watching. Because that's what real masculinity is. Unshakable composure that doesn't demand recognition. And when she senses that, something shifts deep inside her. The walls begin to lower. Her eyes linger longer. Her voice softens in tone. Even when her words stay guarded, the very same man she once tried to resist becomes the one she now feels safe around. Not because he chased her, but because he didn't. He let time reveal what pressure could never force. He let her silence turn into curiosity, her curiosity into comfort, and her comfort into connection. In a world where everyone's shouting for attention, the man who can stay silent becomes unforgettable. Because silence, when rooted in strength, makes people listen. It forces them to feel. It reminds them that depth still exists in a generation obsessed with noise. And women especially feel that difference. They don't remember the loud ones. They remember the ones whose stillness left echoes in their thoughts. So if you ever notice a woman showing signs of interest she's trying to hide, don't react. Don't push. Don't demand clarity. Just hold your ground. Let her mask dissolve naturally. Let your calm remind her that you don't need validation to know your value. Because attraction built on pressure fades, but attraction built on awareness endures. The truth is simple. When you stop chasing signs, you start embodying the kind of energy that makes people reveal them. A woman's hidden interest isn't a puzzle to solve. It's a mirror reflecting the power of your presence. And once she realizes you saw through her walls without breaking them, she'll never forget the man who did it quietly. Before you go, remember, if you're ready to master yourself and the dating game, my full course is waiting at the stoicouple.podia.com site. Join once and you're in for life with lifetime access to every future lesson, series, and book. Start your journey now because growth doesn't wait.